All right. I'll hang out here just for a second and let some people sign in.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. I am Casey. I'm a reference librarian at Willard Library, and I am so excited because tonight I have the pleasure of introducing professional gift wrapper Mia Canada. Mia is the founder of That's a Wrap, a chain of gift wrapping boutiques in Atlanta. She has been featured on CNN Headline News and Walmart World. She was also a contestant on Disney Freeform's Rap Battle competition, and her work has appeared on several other television shows. And tonight she is here with us to share her expertise. She's taking a time out from her busy schedule. And I'm very excited that you're here. So thank you so much.
It is my pleasure. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah.
I am super excited to be here. This is my absolute favorite time of the year, so I'm totally in my element. And I'd love to show you guys how to do some gift wrapping this year that will make your presents look good, that will also be sustainable, and yeah, just make you feel like the rock star that you are, like you just can cross that off your list. Make it easy and simple for you.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you then.
Thank you. So, again, my name is Mia Canada. My friends, colleagues, and clients call me the gift wrap goddess. And tonight I'm excited to be here with you all to show you just to take the mystery and the complication out of gift wrapping. So, I'm going to show you what we got here tonight. This is what you and I are going to be making. I am going to show you how to perfectly wrap this gift with very crisp and precise corners, as well as crisp corners here to show you how to do an invisible seam. Okay. Also, how to decorate with seasonal items such as the orange slices here and cinnamon sticks. And then I have some other little fun things, little picks and things that I've picked up from my local craft store to embellish this gift. And then when we're done, because I know you're going to ask, um, hey, Mia, that's pretty and all, but what happens when you have an odd shaped gift like this, right? So I'm also going to tackle how to wrap an odd shaped gift for you guys. Okay. So I am going to get started. I'm going to adjust my camera so you guys can see my hands and what's happening on my table. And if you have a question while I'm working, please feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat. And Chelsea is going to read those out to me as they come in. Okay. So let's get started. Let me show you first the items and tools that I use as a professional to make my job a lot easier. Okay. First things first is you need tape. I love to use transparent tape. Um, and I have different kinds of tape for different things, but for most high gloss paper, Lux paper, you could use transparent tape. Other matte papers, I like to use double-sided tape, okay? But that's a little more expensive. And the way we will decorate our gifts will take away from you actually seeing the tape. So it's not going to be that big of a deal for us, okay? I have a pair of scissors. These cut paper, okay? Paper, cardboard, cardstock. That's what these are for, okay? And then I have a pair of shears. These cut ribbon and fabric only. Don't cut anything else but ribbon and fabric with these, or they will become very dull and you don't want that. And be sure not to cut wire ribbon with these either because they will be ruined, okay? I just happen to have wire cutters here because I have a couple of little berries that are on a pick that I'm going to cut off. I have a couple forms of ribbon. This is what we call semi poly satin. I'm sorry, poly satin. Very inexpensive. A roll of this, you could get a roll of like 250 feet for like $5. And that's really good ribbon to play around with. And then I have double satin ribbon, and this is double faced because it is the same on each side, as you'll see. Okay. And I love this ribbon. This is a little bit more expensive, but it is worth it. It gives your gifts a little more luxe flair. Okay. I just have some other little embellishments here that we're going to use. I have some dried oranges and some jute, which I'm going to use to string my dried oranges. I have some little berries and some other little frosted berries. Okay. So, oh, and a hot glue gun. I can't get away from that. It's like my one thing that I love and need. So let's get started, okay? So I'm gonna adjust my camera. Perfect. Okay. So first thing you want to do is to cut your paper. Now I have some paper here, and I just want to cut enough of this off. I'm just going to move this stuff over to the side so that I have a free working space. There we go. Okay. So now I'm just going to cut a little bit of this paper. And what I want to do is make sure that the edge of my paper is, let me see. There we go. I want to make sure that the edge of my paper is that my box, I'm sorry, that I have my box in the middle of my paper. Now what I want to look for on these sides here is to make sure that it's going up at least halfway the side of the box. Okay, I just want to make sure that it goes up at least halfway, which it does. I'm going to have it meet the top, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and just make a cut. Okay. It is important to make sure that you have a clear space so that you can work confidently. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is, again, make sure that my box is in the middle of my paper. Okay. And now I'm going to make sure that both of the sides have the same amount of paper on the sides. You see that? Okay. That's good. Now I want to take my first fold, and I want to fold that up about, that's looking like about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And I'm going to take one small piece of tape here. This is actually, again, about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. So I'm going to take that, put that down. And now I want to make sure that my package doesn't have any air pockets in it, right? So air pockets sounds like this. You hear that? That's what an air pocket sounds like. It sounds like the paper rustling up against the box, okay? So what we want to do is take one hand and have a little leverage here, and then pull back, cause a little tension, take our other hand and tap back here. Now what I hear is box, right? That's what we want to hear. So now we're going to take this and pull it over just like this. Make sure that all the air is up. And now I'm going to crease this right there. See that? And I'm going to do the same thing on the front, is give it a good crease. The part that I have that I creased, I'm going to take that and fold it under, just like so. And I'm going to take another small piece of tape, and I'm going to put it right there in the middle. Use this as a little leverage to make sure that that's nice and taut. And look at that, okay? See there? That's what we want to have. Real nice and taut. Okay. All right. So now let's tackle the sides. I know a lot of times people have problems with the sides, but the sides are very easy. The thing is to make sure that you take your time and again get out all of the air pockets. So let me show you how to do this. I'm just going to take my fingers, my hands, and I'm going to go along the sides of the box, and then I'm going to crease just like that and make a little angle there. Now, if you look on this side, you'll see that we have this little funky piece here, right? You still want to go ahead, take your time, and get a nice point there, and then use that to have the top piece, use it as a guide, okay? I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now I'm going to take this and fold it down just like that. Give it a nice little crease and do the same thing. Bring this up, give it a nice little crease, crease it, tuck it. And look at that. That's what we want to see. Okay, so let's tackle this other side. Again, take your finger, go all the way to where the paper meets the underside of the paper, right? Do the same thing on the top. Now this side is where we have that little funky piece. Okay, we're gonna fold it like we normally would, and then fold that one over top of it. Okay, use that little wing as a guide. Do the same thing over here. Now we're gonna fold down and then fold up. Same thing. I'm gonna fold those under because we don't want any raw edges. And look at that. I don't know if anybody else was counting, but that is our fourth piece of tape. That's all you need is 4 pieces, right? Now, I'm going to take my hands and go all the way around the box just to make it really crisp and precise, okay? So, I want you to pay special attention to this. See those corners? How good that looks, right? And look at this, the invisible seam. Now we can't tell the top from the bottom. The only giveaway is the little pieces of shiny tape. But had we used double-sided tape or even matte tape, you wouldn't be able to tell the front or the front from the back. Okay, so that's what you want your gift to look like. Okay, now let's have some fun, and I'm going to show you how to decorate this with using those same materials that I showed you earlier. So let's get into that. Okay, let me adjust my screen. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to use this poly satin paper. I like this. This is almost like that curly ribbon that you can buy. Like I said before, it's very inexpensive, and a little goes a long way. It makes big puffy bows, and it also does just a great job, especially when you're using paper like this, which is simple. It just gives it a punch of color, which I love. Okay, so we're going to break up the monotony of this craft paper. And I'm just going to take a small piece of tape and I'm going to put that right there in the middle. And then I'm going to wrap around my package. Okay. And adjust it as you need to make sure that it's even. And I'm going to cut it and take another small piece of tape and put it right there. Now, the reason I don't mind this being on the top is because we're going to put things on here to cover this up. So you're not going to see that tape. Okay. And so one of the things that I have that I like to play around with are these fun little orange and lime and lemon slices. And I don't know if anybody has ever done this, but this is so simple and it smells so good, guys. It's like these little candied oranges. They add a pop of color to your gifts, and again, they just smell amazing. So if you wanted to do this, you would just take an orange, lemon, or lime, whatever citrus fruit that you had, and thinly slice it. Lay it on your baking sheet with wax paper or baking paper. Yeah, the is it wax paper or is it parchment paper? One of those, the ones that you can actually bake with. You want to lay them on that, and then just gently turn them every half hour or so, so that they don't burn. And keep them on like 300. But look at the variation of color here that we have, even just from the oranges. And so these are just, because we have them in at different times. And so I love to use these. So this is really simple. We could do a couple of things with this. I'm going to use the jute to tie this around, to tie a little thing around there for us. Okay. So I need to poke just a small hole in the orange and the lime so that the jute will go through. Okay. And here's the last one. Let's see if I can poke a hole in that. All right. A little bit came out. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait. I'm going to take this and put it on the other side so that I have a breakup of the color. It's orange and green and then orange again, and not just all orange. Okay. And I'm liking how this is looking, just like that. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And so now I'm just going to take this and tie it around the back. Remember, you always want any of your like imperfections, all of the secrets, all of the all of the behind the scenes, you actually want to be behind the scenes. And so I'm going to trim this. There we go. There we go. There's one, right? And so now from here, if you wanted to add anything, like I had a couple of little leaves that I could take my glue gun and give that a little pat there. And I think I will take my wire cutters. And see, I buy these little picks and things from craft stores, and then I kind of just take them apart. So you don't have to feel obligated to use one pick on one whole pick on a gift. you can break it up like I did here. Okay. And so I think this would also look cute with a couple of these little berries. So I'm going to take these and peel these off and glue these on as well. And just give that a little, hold it down and let it, there we go. I'm going to give this a little glue tug. There we go. Just to, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to hold that, give that a little hold. But there we go. Very simple craft paper, ribbon, dried oranges, and that's all one pick. And I have a lot more from that pick that I can use. Okay, so that's a fun way to do that. Let that dry. That's a fun way to do it. And so now you have, you know, two very similar versions, but different. Okay, now I know what you're wondering. What about those pesky odd shaped things? What about those candles? What about those cylinder things that we get for gifts? How are we supposed to wrap those? Well, I'll tell you. Okay. Again, I'm going to cut my paper and then place it aside. If you notice, it's really important to keep your area clean and neat and free of all of the debris so that you can see exactly what it is you're doing. Okay, so here I have a cylinder that like a lot of things come, all kinds of toys, headsets. These are actually ornaments, but cookies, you know, all kinds of little sweets and things come in these odd shaped things. And it's like, what do we do with these? How do we wrap this? And I just want to say that we make this a lot harder than it has to be. It's actually really simple. So let me show you how. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, again, make sure that your gift is in the middle of your paper this way, that you have the same amount of paper on this side that you do on this side. Okay. Make sure that they're the same and that this is in the middle. Okay. Again, one piece of tape here. I'm going to take this and place it right there in the middle, just like that. Okay. And now I'm going to take it and just roll it over like that. And it would be nice to just tape it right there, but we are professionals, right? So we're not going to have any raw edges. So what we're going to do is just go on ahead and fold that under. And now I'm going to take my piece of tape. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take another piece to make sure these shut just like that. Okay. Okay. And so now that was the easy part, right? You're saying it. I can hear you thinking it. That was the easy part, Mia. I always have a problem when it comes to doing that. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to trim this a little bit because I only need this to go down in here about halfway. Okay, so I am going to trim this all the way around so that I have it about halfway. Okay. And so now I'm going to take this and go in just like that, right? And now I'm going to quarter turn my cylinder and I'm going to pleat it. I'm going to give it a quarter turn and give it a little pleat. Okay? Just like that. Quarter turn and a pleat. See that there? And we're just going to continue to bring that around and pleat. See that there? Just like that. There we go. Bring it around and pleat. And then on this last one, we're going to do the same thing. Bring it around and pleat. And then we're going to do, for this little part here, we're just going to trim that off, okay? Because we don't need that there. You just trim that off. And now I'm going to place another very small piece of tape right there. And now look at that. That's what we want that to look like. Uh-oh. And so this part came a little undone. So let's fix that. Okay. And now let's do the same here. So if you'll notice, that's a little long. So I'm going to give it a little trim. I'm going to give this a little trim so that it is going around about halfway in the circle. Okay, so here we go, and we're just going to do it again. Quarter turn, crease it, quarter turn, pleat it, and crease it. Quarter turn, pleat it and crease it. Quarter turn, pleat it and crease it. And as long as you're pleating and creasing, you won't have too much to worry about because the paper will be a little more forgiving, at least if it has a crease in it, right? Okay, so then that's what we want. There we go. Let's see, I'm going to put a little piece of tape right there. Now I'm going to take my double satin ribbon, which is here. And with this, I kind of want to try my best to cover, again, any imperfections. So I want to take it and cover this little piece right there. There we go. All right. And so now I'm just going to take it and tie it, my bow in the middle. Okay. And because I have so much ribbon left, I have enough to do another tie, another bow. And so I'm going to do that. There we go. Okay. And now for our little finishing touch, this is a little thing that I love to do. I always like to take my ribbon and make the little dovetail. So what I do is I take it and I just pinch it, and then I cut up like that, and then we get a little dovetail like that. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. And also decorate the top of this. So I have a leaf, and to piggyback off of that green, and I've got some oranges, and let's put a couple of berries on there too. See how that looks. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to work with the center of this, right? Because that's what I got. So I'm gonna first start on the sides and go ahead and give these a little bit of glue on them and glue that down. I'm going to do the same thing to this one.
Hey, Mia.
Yes?
We can't see the top very well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Beautiful. Thank you.
There we go. Okay. And now I'm just going to top this off with this little orange one, because I think that looks pretty. Let's give it that. Okay. And now if we want to add these little berries in, we can. Let's just see where they can go. One can go right there. And then we'll add another to give it some symmetry over on this side. There we go. And if you want to have your tag in there, there you go. Odd-shaped gift. Any questions? No? Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so those little extra pieces of paper that you end up with, like when you have to snip off, just like you have too much paper, and so you have to cut some off. Do you have any fun ideas for what to do with those so you don't have to just throw them away?
Well, let me tell you what I usually do with my extra pieces. So I don't usually like to throw them away. I like to keep, now something, little pieces like this are just trim pieces. There's nothing that you can do with that. It is best to just throw that away. However, if you have a piece that you need to, that you cut, and let's say it's not big enough to wrap a gift, but it is, significantly, large, but not maybe not enough to get around a whole gift. I would take this and use this as an accent piece. This would be a great accent piece to And let's see, you can't see what I'm doing now, but I'll show you in a second. I'm just making some pleats in this, and then I'll show you how to go about doing that. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so what I just did was made some little creases in my paper. And so let me show you what you can do with that, okay? So with this, you can take these little creases and fold them. Fold them over and make some pleats. And the same thing with this one. I'm just going to make another little crease, little pleat. And so fun little additions like this are great on gifts, and it doesn't cost, it doesn't cost anything. It's already something that you're using, and it is a great way to continue to use your scraps. Okay, we're almost done. Got a couple more here. And just pinch. And then the last one, I'm just going to fold under like so. All right, we're going to have that. And now I'm going to take this on this side. I'm going to just tape it. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. So now what we have is some handy dandy little folds, and I'm just going to take a box that I already had wrapped and fold that like that. Okay, I'm actually going to cut mine off because it's not long enough to go all the way around. So I'm just going to cut it off so that it's only on the front and the sides. It's not going to end up on the back side of the gift. Okay. Same thing on this side. And I'm just taping this down just so that it gives it, a more finished look, and it decreases some of the bulk that would be otherwise be there if I didn't do that. Okay. And so that's what you can do with your scraps. Now, if you wanted to add a little dimension, you can So there you go. And I would do a simple, very simple bow with this one again. And just maybe I'm just trying to get this through to the other side. There we go. And so now what I want to do is I really want to show off the fact that this is, you know, it has a little more dimension. So instead of putting my bow on top of it, I'm going to put my bow under it to show you that, yeah, I've got a little texture and a little volume. It's levels and layers to this. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm actually just going to clip these up, one up that way, and then the other one that way. So don't throw your scraps away. Any more questions?
Okay, if no one else is, I will. So if you showed us what to do with too much paper, what if you make the mistake of cutting not enough paper? Do you have any tips
From
for
a
that?
professional standpoint, you really just kind of need to start over. You
Okay.
do. They're really, I mean, you can it's all about being neat though, you
Mhm.
know. So the key is making sure that like I said in the beginning, when you're measuring your box, to make sure that it's in the I mean, when you're measuring your paper, make sure your box is in the middle, and then that way that will ensure when you flip it over that it'll fit. Yeah. And I sometimes, if I am in love with a paper and I don't have enough of it to do something with, like say this, then I could use it to wrap. Like if I didn't have enough of it, I could use it to wrap half of a box like this. So maybe half of your box is one paper, and then the other half is another paper, and then you put a bow, a ribbon, or some kind of embellishment like right between there. And I'll show you an example of that. Give me 1 second. Like this is one that I did, and you can see I didn't have enough paper, or the paper wasn't, this sparkly paper on top isn't big enough to go all the way around. And so I just used it on the top. So that's what I would do if I don't have enough paper. Or I like to use ripped pieces to add just a little bit of texture to different gifts. So if you can do that, um, I'd give that a shot as well, and see how that goes. As long as it's neat, it's coming from the heart. There really isn't anything that you can um, do to go wrong with gift wrapping for the holidays.
Okay, well, I don't see any more questions, and I think that was one of my, favorite pieces of your advice all night is because as lovely as these are, and I'm very excited to go home and try them, I don't think they'll turn out quite as good as yours, so
Well, you have to don't listen. Don't beat yourself up about it. Be gentle with yourself. Have fun. That's the most important thing. And as long as you're rapping from your heart, you really can't go wrong. Just be neat. Yeah, just be neat.
well, thank you so much, this was wonderful, and I cannot wait to try all of your tips and tricks this year. Um,
Thank you. It is my pleasure. And if anyone happens to try any of these, if you use the oranges and lemons, or if you're able to tackle a cylinder, please tag me and let me know how you did. I am on Facebook. We are That's a Rap Atlanta, and on Instagram, I am the Gift Wrap Goddess, and that's the THEE Gift Wrap Goddess. So yeah, if you use any of the tips, I would love to see and share with everybody what you've done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
It is my pleasure. Thank you guys. Have a great holiday.